Okay, hello everyone. I wanted to do an update regarding the Long Island Railroad Port Washington branch schedule. This is a follow-up video I'm doing from last Thursday, so many of you know by now, and I had to remind my cousins in Great Neck about this, particularly my cousin who may have an odd job here and then to do stuff around the east side of Manhattan for business clients, which I'm not going to get into what he does for a living. But I was reminding him, just be careful. The 7:19 a.m. train that normally goes to Grand Central Madison is going to get canceled beginning on Monday, on the 13th. So, as many of you know by now, the railroad, somebody in the scheduling department, and we'll quickly go over this here, made a big hiccup, and we talked about this in the last video. As you see here, the 7:14 and 7:19 a.m. trains are going to be going to Penn Station. So you'll have, supposedly in this copy of the schedule that I had from last Thursday, there was a 7:49 a.m. trip and a 7:54 a.m. arrival from Port Washington. All right. So that's when those trips were supposed to finish. But now I'm looking at this new schedule that came out, believe it or not, on my birthday. Again, this is what the railroad does. They don't notify their customers about significant service changes. Okay? So let's get into what we have right here. All right? So here's what I'm noticing right here. Okay? Here is what I'm noticing. Maybe I'm going a little bit off here. Here's my November 2nd copy, and here's my November 8th copy. Unless my eyes deceive me, and I noticed this yesterday on the train time map, because I didn't see this last week for whatever reason. Maybe the app was glitching, maybe something was off with it. But I'm noticing from both the PDFs that I saved from November 2nd, alright, here's November 2nd, and here is my November 8th copy from yesterday. I'm noticing that there's going to be a 7:35 a.m. train. All right. Now, we take our trains for granted at Auburndale, right? The problem is, we're going to have an overcrowded train now. So what is this railroad thinking? I mean, the whole point of the 7:19 train going to Grand Central was to alleviate overcrowding on the local Queens train. So now this means on Monday, this train's going to get completely overcrowded. Look at this, guys. What are they doing to my Auburndale station? What are they doing to it? I'm getting so frustrated right now, guys. This railroad clearly did not realize what they were doing. So I'm calling on Rob Free. I'm calling on whoever makes these schedules. You need to fix this. You need to fix this by Monday. Alright? I know it's only Thursday, but look what you're doing. You're going to cause overcrowding on the 7:45 a.m. train out of Auburndale. That train's going to get completely overcrowded. So I'm going to have to monitor it on Monday. I'll be up early to keep an eye on it on the train time app. Because I'm telling you guys right now, this is not acceptable. This is just not acceptable. And on Monday morning, I'm telling you guys right now, there's going to be people complaining that the train's going to get overcrowded. This train cannot handle the amount of people that come from Little Neck, Douglas, and Bayside. And then when you get to Auburndale, there's going to be like 10 or 15 people waiting for this train. And then all of a sudden, it's going to get overcrowded. You got to remember one thing. When you get to Bayside, it gets equally as crowded. And when I took the train last week, and thankfully I know the train very well in question. When I took the 1027 last week out of Bayside on Monday, all right, I took it on Monday. And I can tell you one thing, that train was already crowded. And there was like a bunch of people waiting in Bayside. So for everybody that doesn't assume that people from Queens don't use the railroad, especially us in the northeastern section, yeah, we use the Port Washington branch. And I know we complain that, oh, the train stop at Metzville, it's Point. But at least the trips take 20, 25 minutes compared to taking the subway and then taking a bus. Alright? And that's why you have a lot of people from Fresh Meadows who prefer to park their cars in the Auburndale area, particularly near Osnum Hall, for an example. They prefer to park their cars over there because, again, Auburndale is our closest station that we have. So I'm telling you guys, Monday morning is not going to be pleasant. It's going to be miserable. And for those people that now are going to have to run from Great Neck, and I feel so bad for my cousin in Great Neck that, if he needs this train, let's say he goes to Auburndale at 7:45, it's already going to be crowded once they pick up the passengers in Bayside. It's going to be packed. Because again, it's only like every hour that you're going to Grand Central Madison. And then look how big the gap in service is to Grand Central Madison in the morning. I mean, how is this acceptable? For peak service, there's no half-hourly until you get to, I don't know, maybe the 8 o'clock hour? But still, I mean, this railroad really needs to fix their problems. So I'm done talking. And I'll say this right now. One more point. For the people that have to come from Port Washington, Plain Dome, and Manhasset, I feel bad for you guys. I really do feel bad for you guys. And I'm going to recommend, if you don't want to miss the train on Monday, I would recommend to take that 7:14 trip. I know it's going to get crowded, and I get all that, but I think, let's say if you're running a little bit late and the train has a problem, I would at least recommend to be at Great Neck 10 minutes before. Because, if you're going to come from Port Washington, Plain Dome, or Manhasset, you should at least get on that train and at least know you're guaranteeing yourself that you have a lot of time to, get to Grand Central. So that's it. And again, for my fellow passengers in Auburndale on Monday morning, I'm just going to wish you guys good luck because it's going to be chaotic on Monday morning. I can already imagine that 7:45 trip is going to be crowded. So that's it.